העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר צר, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם הוא גשר, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר along this very narrow bridge, I will not be afraid, knowing you are with me. As I walk along this very narrow bridge, I will not fear, knowing you are near. לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל, לא לפחד, Good evening, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm so glad that we can be together to welcome Shabbat this evening together in sacred community. We are on page 10 in our prayer book, where the words can be found on the screen before you. Hine matov, how good we can be together tonight.
Shabbat
We turn now to page 2 in our Sidurim, as it is an honor to invite forward Kim and Dave Rulo to join us kindling the lights of Shabbat. We are on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And we add sweetness to this moment, to our celebration of Shabbat with words of Kiddush. We are on page 5, and if it is comfortable for you to do so, we would invite you to rise as together we join in this prayer. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu Shabbat Kadesho Be'ahava U'beratzon Hinchilanu Zikaron Lema'aseh V'reishit Ki hu Yom Techila Lemikra'ei Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shavat kodeshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon Hinachaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Chaim, you are welcome to be seated. We turn now to page 20 in our prayer book. They're finding words of Lecha Dodi, these words coming to us from the northern city of Safat in Israel. It is one of my favorite cities to get to visit, to see the sites of Jewish mysticism, to visit the graveyard. As strange as that is to say, Jews are kind of into graveyard tourism, to see where those revered sages of Jewish tradition are buried. Yet in this trip that I just took to Israel, I wasn't there to visit the sites. I was there to listen to the people, to hear from those whose lives have been impacted by October 7th, to hear the stories of those who fled the kibbutzim in Gaza after keeping their children as quiet as possible in a shelter so they wouldn't be discovered, to hear from those politicians struggling to find a way forward, to hear from those who have lost loved ones or whose loved ones are held hostage. Later in our service, I'll share some reflections, or rather a story from one of those families that I heard, and I look forward to talking more about that experience as we share in a sweet treat and an oneg immediately following. But we welcome Shabbat and the sense of peace that it brings. as did those mystics in northern Israel, with these words that you can find on pages 20 and 21 in your prayer book. Invite you to turn to the people around you to wish them a Shabbat Shalom. We might join in sacred community tonight. And when you are ready, you are welcome to be seated as we continue our words of welcome. We're on page 24 with words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom,
Having warmed our voices, having warmed our spirits, we turn to our formal call to prayer, our Baruch Hu praise, found on page 28 in your prayer book. Again, if it is comfortable, we invite you to rise as we enter into our service together. Will you join me in the English now on the top of page 31? Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. And on page 32. pages 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Welcome to be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
Words of our Michamocha praise and promise of freedom's potential can be found in our prayer book on page 40. As we have for the past 127 days and counting, we add to this section of our service, the section asking for God's shelter of peace over us and for all Israel. We add prayers for those who have been taken hostage and all of those who are suffering in the midst of this terrible war. We continue with words of Hashkivenu found on page 42 in your prayer books or on the screens before you. And on page 259, our prayer for the state of Israel, page 259. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzor Yisrael v'go'alo, Berech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Gulatenu, Hagein Aleha Bevrat Chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'amitecha L'rashecha, Sareha V'yoatzecha, V'tachneim Be'etza Tova Milfanecha, V'natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'simchat Olam Liyoshvecha, V'nomar Amen. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. These next words, taken from the book of Psalms and set by Debbie Friedman, pray for better days ahead.
Will
At a time when all feels up in the air, like all is uncertain, we cling to anything that is a constant in our lives. And perhaps there is no greater constant than Shabbat, a chance to look ahead, a chance to dream, a chance to hope again for the world that will be. We turn in our prayers to page 44 in our embrace of Shabbat. On pages 46 and following, we find our Shabbat Amidah, our standing prayer, and we would invite you to do so in body or spirit as we continue together, page 46.
Adonai Sefat Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii Gehula livnei v'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Samech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayim emunato, Lishaynei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umida melach, Melech meibit, Umechayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahallelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
We invite you to continue in silent prayer using the words of tradition through page 62, words of Oseh Shalom, our prayer for peace, or adding those prayers that can only come from each of our own hearts. When you have finished your silent prayer, we invite you to be seated. Our Mishaberach Lecholim, our prayer for healing, gives us opportunity to bring to mind those in our lives in need of healing. If there are loved ones you are thinking of at this time, I invite you to share their name aloud if you're comfortable doing so.
Roy Muir,
Francis Williams, John Paul Mahowski.
Fletcher Abrams, Jeffrey Abrams, and Doug McKee.
Andy Jeffers.
Eleanor Zarenberg.
Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. May God be a source of comfort. Bring a comfort to all who are ill. Page 253. Ilana Kaminka grew up in Davis, California. She met her husband, Eyal, in Israel, and they decided to raise their family in Tzor Hadassah, a small town some 30 minutes to the west of Jerusalem. Ilana described it as idyllic, with so much green space and with enough space for a single family home, somewhat rare in Israel, and with a Palestinian village so close by, but without want for so much as a fence. Their oldest son, Yanai, had his bar mitzvah at Kehilat Shir Hadash, the Reform synagogue in Tzor Hadassah, and he was drafted into the Israel Defense Forces, as is required for all non-ultra-Orthodox Jews. Having been a leader in the Israeli Scouts, similar to the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts, but with a fervor that only an Eagle or a Gold Award Scout could match, Yanai declined a combat unit in favor of working on a search and rescue training base. Ilana thought this was great because it meant her son wouldn't be wandering around the territories. Yanai was stationed at Zikim, an hour's drive from his home, right along the Mediterranean Sea, right along the border with Gaza. 3 of the 4 divisions of new army recruits, having joined the IDF in August, less than 2 months before October 7th, had been sent home for the Sukkot and Simchat Torah holidays, along with the base's commander, leaving some 90 basic trainees with less than 2 months training and no weapons experience, with 6 of Zikim's junior officers, including Yanai. When the initial volley of some 3,000 rockets was launched on October 7th, landing in and around and flying over Zikim, the trainees were replaced at their guard posts by their officers and sent to take shelter. Yanai's post overlooked the Mediterranean and the popular Zikim beach, where hundreds of people were camping out over the holiday weekend. As terrorists from Hamas began landing on the beach, killing 20, the campers scattered, and some made their way to the army base looking for safety and protection. Yanai killed the terrorists chasing those campers, and he ushered them into safety near the new recruits in his care. He returned to his guard post to continue the fight until the commander beside him received a head wound. He brought her to the shelter before again returning to his guard post to continue the fight. These heroic actions taken by a 20-year-old soldier just shy of his 21st birthday sound like they could be taken from a movie script, or like they could have been over-valorized by his parents, Ilana and Eyal, as they were mourning their son and telling me his story. But they're verified and preserved in a WhatsApp group, a popular international texting program that the officers were using to communicate. It was through that texting group, the text still exists, that Yanai received word that the soldiers in the guard post facing Gaza had run out of ammunition and were about to be overwhelmed. Yanai had stopped the terrorists on his side of base Zikim, and now he ran to the other side to continue the fight. He arrived just before the RPG that ended his life, but he didn't die in vain. Only 1 terrorist managed to enter the army base, killing only 1 brand new recruit. Yanai's actions saved the lives of 130 people. 6 weeks after his funeral, Ilana and Eyal's second son, Liam, was conscripted into the IDF to begin his service. My heart broke to hear their story, Yanai's story, and while they had previously cried all of the tears there were to cry, it won't surprise anyone in this room that I had not. I so wish that every American calling for Israel to lay down its arms, would have to hold their signs and chant their slogans in front of these grieving parents who understand what setting down their arms would have meant for their son and for the 130 other children on that base, and for the many families and universes Yanai saved on October 7th. That's the message that I bring back from my trip of solidarity and support to Israel. But Alana's message wasn't done. She shared a poem that Eyal had written when Yanai was a boy, one designed to cheer him, quote, "Only at night do you see the stars," the poem ended. Words that are now tattooed on the arm of more than one person in his former unit. Dr. Eyal Kaminka worked until recently as the director of the International School of Holocaust Studies at Yad Vashem. Alana worked for Tevel B'Tzedek, an NGO expanding Jewish involvement in addressing global poverty, and she volunteered as a driver to take Palestinian children to Israeli hospitals. When Yanai died, a friend of Alana's from that Palestinian village near Tzor Hadassah brought her a platter of dates, a gift during Shiva. And Alana wrote a letter to her friends. To my dear friends and neighbors from Wadi Fukin, Hassan, and Batir, the neighboring Palestinian villages, these are terrible days for us all, she wrote. I'm sitting Shiva, mourning for my beloved eldest son, 20-year-old Yanai Kaminka, a boy with kind eyes that saw every human being, and my heart is shattered into pieces. With this terrible grief and bereavement, I want to say to you that I see you. I know these days are terrible days for you too, days of fear and dread. I'm writing to tell you that I only want good for you, she wrote, and that I'm worried about you, like I'm worried about us all. I wish you could be here with me during the mourning week to cry with me for Yanai, just as I wanted to come and cry with the Mansara family when Ahmad, a 13-year-old boy in the village, was killed. Like my son Yanai, Ahmad was young and beautiful with kind eyes, and I felt the pain of his parents and the entire village when he was taken. Yanai was a soldier, she writes. I know that's hard and difficult for many of you. I understand the difficulty. But Yanai chose to serve in a search and rescue unit, a unit whose purpose is to help civilians, to rescue them from earthquakes and other such disasters. After the recent earthquake in Morocco, he hoped to be part of the team sent there. Sent there to save lives. Yanai was the happiest when he was helping people. After he graduated from high school, he volunteered for a year of service, working with children at risk. In the army, too, he always asked his fellow soldiers about their families, checked in if they needed anything in their homes, food or clothes, or if they were sad or in pain. He saw you, our neighbors, and he once invited a Palestinian to come and talk to his friends so that they could better understand the difficult circumstances you live in. Dear neighbors, Ilana Kaminka wrote, I'm in pain now, deep pain, but I want to tell you that within this pain, my heart is open to you. I don't blame you for the deeds of Hamas, and I hope this cursed situation will somehow bring our two nations to at last learn how to live together with mutual respect so that there may be no more parents, Israeli or Palestinian, that must grieve for their sons. I so wish that every American calling to flatten Gaza or to export the Palestinians because they are all anti-Semitic terrorists would have to hold their signs and chant their slogans in front of these bereaved parents who understand what that would mean for other people's sons. That, too, is the message that I bring back from my trip in solidarity and support of Israel. Israel must stop fighting. Israel can't stop fighting. What makes this situation extraordinarily difficult is that both of these positions are simultaneously true. The impossibility and the lack of a clear path forward is perhaps why this feels like an existentially threatening time for the Israelis I spoke with, more so than 1973 or 1982 or 2006. Hostages are still held in Gaza. Israel's children are dying to remove a security threat from its border that all of society agrees must be removed. Everyone is holding their breath to see what Hezbollah will do. It's small wonder that it's easier for Americans to fixate on casualties in Gaza than on a solution to what feels like an intractable problem. Israelis, too, care about innocent lives in Gaza, and they have their hearts and their minds full with their own wounded and dead and kidnapped. Uncertainty, despair, frustration with their own government, recognition that they're about to be used as pawns in an American election. We saw it start just last night. Feelings of isolation from other Western nations, economic and financial burdens as small businesses close due to a lack of tourism and so many reservists called to fight instead of work. These are the feelings on the Israeli street. I can tie no neat bows around my words, and there are no clear morals or uplifting endings to this trip or to the situation that would be honest. So perhaps instead let me end with a piece of poetry, like that written for Yanai. But to understand Zohar Dor's poem, a soldier who escaped with her life from the neighboring base to Zikim, we first need to remember the Israeli classic song or poem, The Children of the Winter of 1973, written by Shmuel Hasfarai. Hasfarai speaks of a society who knows hurt and the devastation of the Yom Kippur War in 1973, who owe it to their children to work for peace. He wrote, "We are the children of the winter of 1973. You first dreamt us at dawn as the battles ceased. You were tired men who thanked their good luck. You were worried young women, and you wanted so much to love. When we were born, the land was wounded and sad. You looked at us, hugged us, tried to find solace. When we were born, the elders blessed us with damp eyes and said, 'May it be that these children will not go into the army.' And your faces in those old photographs prove that you spoke from the heart when you promised to do anything for us, to turn an enemy into a friend." And with the understanding of that poem, we're ready for my final words. This poem written by soldier Zohar Dror. We are the soldiers of the fall of 2023. Our muscles taut with shock, our efforts to suppress pain and stay stoic etched on our faces. You conceived us as children of peace after the Yom Kippur War, the Six-Day War, Operation Cast Lead. But the cries from Be'eri to Re'em rent the peace that was never there. We are not its children, though we so wished to be. Don't look at us. You might reveal your guilt. We stand proud and steadfast, fighters filled with dedication and love and fear. If we stop, we will feel the loss that has no place at all now. We are the soldiers of the war of 2023, your children, perhaps asking forgiveness, falling in battle for our nation. May what feels impossible somehow, some way, become possible. And soon, Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. We invite you to turn back in your prayer books, though there will be much conversation later on. We turn to page 282 as we pray for what we're told will be better days ahead. Page 282 with words of Aleinu L'Shabeach. We invite you to rise if it is comfortable to do so.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula le'yotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, ve'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ ומושב יקרה בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו מגובי מרומים ואלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו ופסולתו ככתוב בתורתו מידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You're welcome to be seated. As we turn in our prayer books to page 294, they're finding words of Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's prayer. We remember so many this Shabbat, including those laid to rest in recent days, Jerry Bittner and Richard Gordon. And we observe the period of Shloshim for Janice Kiley. This Shabbat, we mark as well the yahrzeit, the commemoration of the passing of Henry Bessinger, Hannah Katz-Berkowitz, Arthur Thomas Blank, Louis Kaplan, Rebecca Betty Sepikoff, Samuel Chetlin, Saul Chetlin, Ida Lebo Cohen, Samuel Cohen, Sarah Jean Cohen, Gilbert Cohn, Louis Aaron Rich, Samuel Fishman, Charles Freed, Sarah G. Friedman, Florence Gollum, Hedwig Hauser, Anne Hendel, Dean J. Hirschfield, Samuel Hirschfield, Marcella Katz, Max Katz, Virginia Klein, Chuck Kurtz, Joan Kurtz, Saul Kurtz, Joan Langs, Francis F. Levin, Malvina Mal Levy, Cecil Lewick, Esther Mayolo, Howard Marcus, Arlene Metzger, Louis S. Miller, Abraham Podolsky, Harry Presser, Sarah G. Rosenberg, Maurice Schnirov, Stephen Schwager, Raina Shamus, Isidore Shapiro, Jenny Slavkin, Hyman Taffler, Victor M. Wine, Jeffrey Weiss, and Archie Weiss. If there are others whom you are remembering this Shabbat, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced the name of a loved one, I invite you to share their name at this time.
John A. Mahovsky,
Ron Kelly.
David, Daniel, and Margaret Jost.
Yehi zichronam livracha. May their memories be an everlasting blessing. Words of Kaddish Yatom can be found on page 294. And together with those who mourn, we rise in sympathy and support. As together we affirm, Yit Gadal Vit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach Hirute V'yamlich Malchute, B'chayechon Uv'yomechon, Uv'chaye D'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala V'izman Kariv V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'lalmei Almaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar V'yitalev V'yithalal, Shemei D'kudsha B'richu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechamata, Damiran Be'alma V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shalama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom B'mramav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. You are welcome to be seated. I'm afraid that my trip didn't bring me much comfort, and that I'm unable to bring you much comfort. I was, however, able to fit in my suitcase some sweets to hopefully make it just a little bit better from my favorite bakery in Jerusalem, and I hope you will join us immediately following the service for a chance to nosh, for a chance to talk, for a chance to commiserate together, and God willing, find a path toward a brighter future. A tremendous thank you to everyone who has helped to lead our service this evening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Marley, for enabling everyone to be with us online. Thank you to those who have joined us in person and online. I'm afraid I can't share a rugelach with you, but I promise to have an extra one on your behalf. Olam chesed yibaneh. We can build this world from love. These words written by Menachem Creditor for his daughter after the attack of September 11th, 2001, a time when it felt that all hope was lost. May we continue to draw strength during this time where hope can be fleeting, to recognize that better days, God willing, our hands and actions willing, are ahead.
Oh
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom, Bimroma. Oh, say shalom, Bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. Be the one who makes peace, bring peace down, bring peace down. Be the one who makes peace, bring peace down, bring peace down. Be the one who makes peace, bring peace down, bring peace down. Be the one who makes peace, bring peace down, bring peace down. Shalom, Bimroma. Oh, say shalom, Bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Be the one who makes peace, bring peace down, bring peace down. Be the one who makes peace, bring peace down, bring peace down. Be the one who makes peace, bring peace.